So life can be crazy in many different ways, and ways that are unexplainable. As you know, a lot of folks believe that we are living in the Matrix. And those are a special kind of folks, and we love them dearly. So with that being said, here are 5 of the best glitch in the Matrix stories. I was driving home on a stormy day. I see that a side road up to the local golf course is blocked off by flashing barricades. I also spot a Mercedes parked past the barricades with its hazard lights on. I stop and walk up to the car to see if they need help. I'm an EMT too, by the way. I shine my light in the back seat to see a man slumped over, apparently asleep. Thinking I've got a few drunks, I move up to the driver's window and rap on the glass and shine my light in. The driver is sitting bolt upright, unmoving, staring straight ahead. My window rapping or light doesn't cause him to blink, flinch, or move. I look over and the passenger is slumped forward onto the dash. This begins to creep me out. I then call down to the sheriff's station and request a Code 2 unit up to my location to help me check them out. While on the phone, I walk back to my truck to go get my bag. As I'm on the phone with dispatch, she asks me to get a license number for the car just as a PG&E, which is a power company. A cherry picker truck comes rumbling down from up the closed road. I move to go around the truck to get the plate number. And just like that, the car is gone. I talked to the driver of the truck and he said there was an 80-foot tree down across the road, and that he didn't think it'd be open for a day or so. So the question is, where the hell did the car go? The tree up one way, barricades down the other. It's kept me a bit unsettled with accidents or hazards since then. My mother did all her GYN appointments with the doctor in downtown Austin. He was on the 5th floor of this hospital building and had a long-time nurse receptionist named Allison. I remember attending her appointments when I was little, and my mother would make a game out of finding the office and being in the waiting room, which was colorfully decorated with the forest scene. Allison was a super sweet woman who was half babysitter for us kids too. She would read us books and give us coloring things to do, and occasionally even listen to our dreadful knock-knock jokes. We all referred to her as Alice in Wonderland. Anyway, years down the road, I got married and pregnant, and started searching for an OB since I had moved back to Austin, relatively recently before that. My mother suggested I go see if that doctor, who was super young, about low 30s, when I was born, was still in the business. Well, I cannot find his name in the hospital directory, so I figured I would just swing by the office and check. My mother happened to be in town, and came with me. We both joked about it being so familiar but reverse situations now. As we reached the stairs, we ran into a problem. There was no 5th floor of this hospital office building. Odd. We both must have misremembered it. We knew it was on the top floor, so it must have been the 4th. Nope. Not there. We thought maybe we were in the wrong building, except we parked in the same parking garage thing from 20 years ago, and walked the same route. But as it turns out, that doctor does not exist. Never did, apparently. My mother and my brother and I are the only ones who remember him, and Alice in Wonderland. We have asked around, including among the hospital staff. We even looked up our birth certificates, which are new copies and just list attending physician. One of my childhood memories is fake, but yet it was shared with my brother and my mother. My parents are separated, and one night after a party my boyfriend and I got home to my mom's house at 3 a.m. We opened the front door, quietly we thought, and sat down in the kitchen. No more later than 3 minutes, my sister texts me saying she heard us come in. We had woken her up, and she asked for a glass of water with juice. I look in the fridge and tell her there is no juice, so it will have to be just water. She told me she had only poured herself a glass before bed a few hours prior. I sent her a picture of the fridge and asked where the juice was because I knew I wasn't that drunk. It's then we realized we were in two different houses. I was in my mom's and she was in my dad's house. It was so bizarre because she said we had woken her up from coming into the house and she could hear us talking. What do you think? About a week ago, my wife and I were heading home from a doctor's appointment, and we live in a rural area, so there is about a 2-hour drive through Desert Highway. The highway starts as 2 lanes in either direction, and about 1 hour in, it narrows down to a single lane in either direction. I was driving and coming up to the part of the road where 2 lanes merge into one, and there was a silver car ahead of me going about 60 miles per hour, though the speed limit was 70. We were not directly on top of the part of the road that merges, so I decided to pass the car because I didn't want to deal with going 10 miles under the limit once the road gets busier with only 2 lanes. I had plenty of time to pass the silver car without being reckless or rude, so I did. When I was almost all the way past this car, the driver decided to speed up and make it difficult for me to change lanes. I don't know if the guy or woman just didn't want to let me pass or what, but I sped up a little and asked my wife to look over and see if I was ahead of the car enough to change lanes. I couldn't see it anymore once I passed, and I thought it was just in my blind spot. She looked around and didn't see the car. It wasn't behind us, beside us, or ahead of us. It was right behind me, then suddenly gone. Let me explain by saying that there was nowhere this car could have gone. There was an exit close to the merging point, but we would have seen the car take the exit by that time. Plus, the exit is for military personnel, not civilians. Even if the driver in the silver car belonged on that exit, it was easy to see all the way down the road. The silver car did not take the exit. At that time, there was no other cars in sight, so it didn't slip behind another vehicle. It didn't pull over on the other side of the road. The scenery was open desert, so there was nowhere to hide. Normally, I would just shrug it off as me being insane, but my wife saw me pass the car and noted that it was suddenly nowhere to be seen. I wasn't drinking or on drugs either, or very tired. Nothing out of the ordinary was happening. The car was just on the road one moment and gone the next. Yesterday, I was swimming at my local lake. I put my stuff near the water and went in. When I looked back after about 5 to 10 minutes of swimming and diving, I noticed that I saw a young couple sat next to my stuff. I felt kinda weird about them. They had this super weird aura. They were both about 20 years old, I'd say. I remember the towels they sat on, one being red and the other being grey. Then, I lost my swimming goggles. They fell down to the lake floor. I dived about 3 meters and came back up, which lasted about 5 to 10 seconds. When I looked at the couple again, because all the time I felt weird about them, they both were really old. They definitely retired. I thought maybe the young couple went home and the elders came to sit there. However, the young couple was nowhere. There were about 10 people in a 50-mile radius, and the towels were the same. At first I thought it was a visual glitch, but after I was walking by, I heard that their voices changed as well. Hey guys, it's me Lucid. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe and stay tuned for tomorrow's videos. I'm going to be posting a lot more often, and it's going to be great. But I hope you enjoyed this little mind-fucking experience. Excuse my French. But yeah, I hope you all have a great weekend. As always, the dark is simply the answer.